Hello, this is Sondra Oster Baras, bringing you a few words of Bible from the heart of Biblical Israel. This week's Torah portion is Ki Tavo, and I'd like to focus on the very beginning, the first 11 verses of the Torah portion. They are so beautiful. And I'm going to read those 11 verses to you, and then we'll discuss them briefly, okay? When you enter the land, and well, you know what? I'm going to read my own translation here. And it will come to pass when you enter the land. It's not just when you enter the land. It's an event. Entering the land is an event. The Lord your God is giving you as a possession, and you possess it and settle it. You shall take some of every first fruit of the soil, which you harvest from the land that the Lord your God is giving you. Put it in a basket and go to the place where the Lord your God will choose to establish his name. You shall go to the priest in charge at that time and say to him, I acknowledge this day before the Lord your God that I have entered the land that the Lord swore to our forefathers to assign us. You see, they come into the land, and of course you till the soil and you have these first fruits. And you're going to bring them where? To the place where God chose to put his name, which of course we know later on will be in Jerusalem. Initially, it will be in Shiloh. And then you will come to the priest, and the first statement you will say is that the Lord brought me to this land. Okay? It's not just, here's my basket of fruit. The Lord brought me to the land, my right to the land, the miracle of God's gift to the nation of Israel of the land is the first statement that you say in this amazing first fruits ritual. The priest shall take the basket from your hand and set it down in front of the altar of the Lord your God. You shall then recite as follows before the Lord your God. And here we have a text. It's the exact text that every individual would recite there in front of the priest at the temple when he brought his basket of fruits. And what would he say? My father was a fugitive Aramean. What does that mean? Who's a fugitive Aramean? This is referring to Jacob. Okay, now Jacob, who was Jacob? Of course, he was from the land of Israel, but he had to flee from Esau, and he went up to Aram, to where Laban was, and he was there, and then he leaves Laban. He is, I would say, not so much a fugitive Aramean, a man who had to flee to and then from Aram. That's Jacob. Jacob's whole existence is about fleeing and being a refugee and having a very, very difficult life. And then what happens? He finally comes back to the land of Israel and thinks everything good. And then what happens? He has to flee again. He went down to Egypt with meager numbers and sojourned there. Okay? The word in Hebrew is vayagor. He lived there, but it's with the idea of living as a stranger. He didn't settle in Egypt. He lived there. He had to be there for a time. Okay? But there he became a great and very populous nation. The Egyptians dealt harshly with us and oppressed us. They imposed heavy labor upon us. We cried to the Lord, the God of our fathers, and the Lord heard our plea and saw our plight, our misery and our oppression. The Lord freed us from Egypt by a mighty hand, by an outstretched arm and awesome power, and by signs and portents. He brought us to this place and gave us this land, a land flowing with milk and honey. Wherefore I now bring the first fruits of the soil, which you, O Lord, have given to me. Okay? And this is just like an amazing situation, because this is a person who's like any farmer all over the world. He has worked hard over the year, and he has tilled the soil, and he has planted, and he has pruned, and he has done all these things, and he has prayed for rain, and rain has come, and it's been successful. So any farmer anywhere in the world is going to want to offer some kind of prayer or ceremony of thanksgiving to God for the success of the harvest. But in this case, it's a whole different ballgame. It's not just that, it's so much more than that. Because as part of bringing this offering, you are thanking God, number one, for the land itself. You are recognizing that the very land I'm sitting on is a gift. I cannot take this for granted. At the same time, you are going back in history. And you're recognizing the history of your people. That God selected you. That God took your forefather Jacob And despite years of travel and exile, he is able to come to the land. And, his descendants, it becomes the nation. He is able to come to the land. And there, because he's coming to the land that God gave to him, through miracles, through deliverance, through selection, okay, he now is able to enjoy the harvest, the fruits of a land that flows with milk and honey. And I think this is something that we today in Israel, the modern Jews, need to understand as well. Well, we don't yet have a temple where we actually bring this first fruits ceremony. I think every single day we need to understand and recognize and appreciate and thank God for our history. Recognizing that our coming to this land is not an accident. Our coming to this land is not just because, we found a place that maybe we'll be safe from anti-Semitism. No. This is the land that God has given us. This is the land set aside for us, and it was He who delivered us from our exiles. Think about the image of Jacob here, the wandering Jew. The Jew who, here's Jacob, had to flee to Aram and fled back from Aram and from Laban, and then he has to go again to Egypt. This is the Jew's life cycle. Exile after exile, fugitive after fugitive, and finally coming to that place where he can rest, where he can till the soil and produce the fruits and come and thank God for all of it. Not just for the delicious fruits and not just for the land that is milk and honey, but for God who has chosen the land and chosen the people and has taken us through this process to bring us here where we are today settled. And that is true today, no less than it was true then in biblical times. We rejoice and thank God for bringing us back to our land. Have a wonderful
I hope you enjoyed that video, and we'd like to be sure you're getting all of our video content. So just click on the subscribe button below as well as on the notification bell, and that way you will have easy access to all our material. We look forward to staying in touch with you. God bless you, and have a wonderful day.